Not everyone likes poetry, and that's fine. However, sometimes that is simply because people don't know how to read poems properly and have several misconceptions about them.
I am teacher Nicole,
And I am teacher Alice.
and we are here to help.
The first thing you must know is that you're not supposed to understand every poem the first time you read them. Poetry is about many things. Objectiveness is not one of them.
So before you try to grasp the hidden meanings and cracking the poem's code, remember that these are texts much more about feeling than anything else.
So when face to face with a poem, feel it.
Not every poem will have simply one meaning or a clear meaning, but that also doesn't mean that you can interpret it as you want to.
And don't expect to understand every single poem in the world.
That is not going to happen, and that is part of the fun. Slowly coming to the point of comprehending a poem is great, but the unknown can also be quite beautiful.
Let these misconceptions go and try to enjoy the reading process.
So now, we will briefly go over a few structural and semantic elements that might or might not be present in a poem.
Knowing these elements exist and understanding what they are can be quite helpful to the process of comprehending poetry. Whenever you identify one of these features in a poem, ask yourself,
Why is this here? What is the impact of this element in the meaning of the poem? Figurative language. Words or expressions used with a different meaning than the literal interpretation.
metaphors, similes, and personification are common figures of language used in poetry. Word choice. The words the poet chooses to work with. They might be chosen by their sound, connotation, etc.
Imagery. Language that incites physical sensation produced by one of the five senses.
Vivid description. To make use of a lot of adjectives to make the reading experience more alive.
Personal voice. The poet's writing personality.
Tone. Serious, humorous, sad, playful, etc.
Symbol. An object, person, or action which represents an abstract idea. A dove, for example, usually represents peace.
Sound. Word choice. Selecting a rhyme scheme can create sound in a poem. Same sounds devices used in poetry are rhyme, alliteration, assonance, consonance, onomatopoeia, repetition, and rhythm.
Emotive and effective descriptions. To bring emotions and details in writing.
Mood or atmosphere. Romantic, realistic, gloomy, optimistic, etc.
Style. Sentences, register, and word choices the poet makes when writing a poem.
Alright, now that you are familiar with all these definitions, shall we read a poem together?
We have a few more suggestions for you on how to do it. This is Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep by Mary Elizabeth Fry.
The first thing we must do is look at the poem. Observe the form, the length of the lines. Are there stanzas? How many?
Now, the second step is read it, preferably aloud. Listening to your voice saying the words can very often help you notice things you certainly wouldn't if simply looking at them.
But don't try to analyze it just yet. Feel it. Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
Did you feel that? Let's dive into it. Pay attention to the title.
Does it add any new meaning? Not in this case, right?
Is there any word that you don't know? If so, highlight it and look it up right now.
Poetry is never made of random words. Understanding the meaning of every component will certainly help you comprehend the whole.
Now, it's time to check out those elements we previously mentioned. The first thing we notice is rhythm. This poem sounds very good. Rhythm here is mainly constructed by rhyme and repetition.
Why do you think this happens? How does this repetition make you feel?
To us, it sounded like the narrator was making a list. Lists indicate quantity, so this repetition suggests that the narrator is everywhere, except on that grave. There is also lots of imagery in here.
Nature imagery, to be more precise.
This certainly affects the tone of the whole thing. What is it, then, the tone? Is it angry? Sad?
Who is the narrator? Do not stand at my grave and weep. Someone who died, right?
And who is the narrator speaking with? Someone who goes to their grave and weeps.
What are they trying to say?
To us, it feels like something close to, "Hey dude, I know I died and you miss me, but you don't have to visit my grave and cry, because I'm not really there. My spirit is now one with nature. I am everywhere, always with you."
After coming to understand a bit more about the poem we were reading, try to read it aloud again. And that's our final tip. We hope you enjoyed it.
Tell us in the comments whether this was helpful or not. Thank you so much. Bye bye.